Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Video Pals podcast. Today is a quick one. I'm going to be talking about my little friend, the shooting checklist. Let's go. So today is a quick solo episode because we've been busy and this is what I have time to do for you guys this week, but I wanted to bring some value. So this little shooting checklist, which I'm going to bring up on the screen in a second, this is something that I will tape onto my monitors, onto my camera, onto wherever I find it useful for a given shoot to give me some reminders to make sure that I do the things I need to do to make sure that my videos look good. This little thing has this information on it, and I just wanted to walk through it. So some of this stuff sounds basic, but you'll notice that these are important, critical things, right? And as video guys, we know that as much as we like to think we have things memorized, like I've been doing this for 21 years, why should I need this checklist? The reason I need this checklist is because in real life, things happen and you get flustered or you just get hot, like you're out in the sun and it's just hot and your brain doesn't work the way it should and you just realize, dang it, I forgot to do this. So these are the things on the checklist. I'm just gonna walk down real quick and then we'll kind of jump into them. First one is contrast in light and in color. So make sure that in what we're setting up, we have some contrast in light, we have some contrast in color. So even as you're looking at, me right now with this setup, you can see that there is some contrast, and this side of my face is my key side. I'm looking this way, which is actually talking about being on the shadow side, so I'm jumping ahead already. But anyway, make sure there's some contrast in light and color. So as I look at this frame, I'm like, okay, this looks decent. Now, your stop. T4 when we're on our anamorphic lenses. So when we shoot anamorphic, we want to make sure we're at T4 because that is where, they're nice and clean, but still have a good, bokeh and all this good stuff. That's more like a T2.8 around non-anamorphic lenses just because anamorphic is different. But anyway, think about what stop you want to be at for a given project. 180 degree shutter. Make sure that your shutter is at 180 degrees if you're going for that natural motion blur, so make sure you're using your NDs or whatever to get that. Also, manual white balance, please. Auto white balance is for wedding videographers. It is not for high-end corporate videos and commercials, things like that. So think about manual white balance. I have a note, the FX6 needs to be set plus 200 Kelvin above the other matching cameras, FX3, FX30, because for whatever reason, the FX6 is 200 Kelvin colder. And so we need to set it plus 200. So for example, if we're balancing to daylight, then the FX3 might be at 5600 and the FX6 needs to be at 5800. So just keep in mind there's a 200 Kelvin difference between the FX6, FX3, FX30. I've not compared with the FX9, so I'm not sure about that, but I know the FX6 runs 200 Kelvin colder. We struggled with that for a long time. We're like, why is this camera always so different? And I finally stopped and did the test and realized, it's 200 Kelvin different. Next is big. This is why it's underlined. It's why it's in the middle. Key light, shadow side, negative, color temperature. So this is our little formula for make sure we have a key light, which in this particular scene is coming right here. Make sure we have a shadow side and make sure the camera is filming the shadow side, not filming the light side. Now watch the difference here. So right now, camera's on the shadow side. But if I turn and get that light on me, kind of technically still shadow side, but for example, let me just kick this light on. And now I'm looking, here we go. So if you're seeing this light, now of course as I'm doing this, this light is still brighter. So let me close the blinds here, which will make that. So now look how flat that is, right? That is flat because this light is right next to the camera, which is great for webcam type stuff. But if I was trying to make a cinematic interview, this is not it. This is not a cinematic interview because now I'm filling in from the camera. So now everything is flat. Look, there's no shape and dimension to my face. But if I were to turn this off, now there's light on one side, but not the other side. So where do you put the camera? You don't put the camera on the light side, you put the camera on the shadow side. So as I open the blinds back up, you can see that key light is now coming in from the window. And as I look towards the key light, which is what you want to do, you don't want to look away from it. So if you look away from the key light, now look, my eyes are not, now of course there's another computer monitor here reflecting white all up in my eyes, but you can see that there's not as much good looking contrast in the images when I go this way. Now my eyes are picking up that key light. So always looking towards your key light, and always camera on the shadow side of the face. The other thing is a neg. So just grab my mouse pad here. Like I said, this one's quick and dirty. I didn't really make a good preparation. So if I bring this negative fill in, of course, got to bring this way in because this is not, big by any stretch. But as I bring this negative fill in, you can see I'm creating contrast. So that contrast happens from that negative fill. So this whole note says key light, boom, camera, shadow side, negative fill, and color temperature, 5600, because that's what most of our lights are, and that's usually where we're at. So it's a reminder to make sure that we have all those things dialed in, and that's like, there's the big look. So the next one you see there is eye light, which again means make sure there's light in the eyes. So as I look this way, you can see my eyes are picking up some of the catch from the window. I've got this other little light filling in a tiny bit here, and then I've got, of course, my computer screen. Now, if I didn't have any of these things filling in my eyes, and I'm looking this way, of course, I still got, whatever. If I block I don't know if the camera can even see me. If I block everything out of reflection-wise out of my eyes, now my eyes are dead. But if I have that light reflection in my eyes, that's the eye light. So you want to make sure your eyes have some life in them so they don't look dead. Another one is background separation. That's going to happen both in light, in contrast, in color, and also in focus. So obviously the background behind me is out of focus. But also we have everything else going on. So as you can look at that background, you can see, okay, there's some separation. Now color-wise, here I got the kind of same color shirt as the wall back there. Can you tell I like blue? Anyways, but directly behind me, you can see that there are different points of contrast and color happening right behind me. So those things like this, black hat stands out against the blue background. So anyways, we've created that contrast and that background separation. Next is audio levels. As video guys, we love to forget audio because we get too busy looking at the light and then forget to put on the headphones and be like, oh, we can't hear them. Oh, the mic is not in the right place. You start many things and your mic is like, anyway, your mic is like way in the wrong spot. But because you're looking at the visuals, not like in the frame like this, but like, oh, the mic's in the wrong spot. And then you go to record, you put on your headphones and, oh, whoops, let's bring the mic in where it's supposed to be. Oh, look, now we can hear them. So anyway, audio levels. That's something to always check. And then focus. That's like the last thing you check again before you roll, because it's so easy, again, to be looking at everything else and forget to double check your focus. I like on the Sony cameras, you can punch in even while recording to do focus. So what I like to do is have my external monitor be, like a 7-inch monitor, whatever, be big, be full. I want the whole frame. And then on the internal Sony screen, I will punch in to max and put the box right on the eyes so that I can watch critical focus on the eyes during the interview on the Sony display, while on my external display, I'm watching the whole frame. So I like to be able to see both at the same time when I'm doing an interview, especially if we're doing manual focus. Like if you're shooting anamorphic, you're doing manual focus. Anyway, so that is what the shooting checklist is about. It's about making sure I don't screw up, because the more I can do to help myself not screw up, the better the final result will be, and the better the video will be, which means I get hired again, which means I'm also happy with my work, because there's nothing like getting back from a shoot and you pull up the footage and you're like, oh, we forgot to white balance. The auto white balance is shifting everywhere. Or, oh, we forgot to set the key light. Oh, we didn't do a backlight. Oh, we didn't, whatever it may be, right? And you're like, I forgot to check critical focus. It's pretty good, but it's a little soft. So when you have this checklist literally printed out tiny and taped right to my monitor, man, that's helpful. And when I say taped to my monitor, I literally mean like I will take a piece of tape and just like tape it right to the monitor. Now this is not the monitor the client is looking at. This is the monitor on my camera. So I'm the only one who's right here looking at it. And yeah, it's real tiny, but guess what? My face is this far from it, so I can read it. So that's how I use that little checklist. And sometimes I'll tape it on the back of the camera. Sometimes I'll tape it on the monitor. but I just stick it on with some Scotch tape and I just take it off when I'm done. It's really helpful, and if there's any specific things for that particular shoot, like hey, maybe for this one we need to crop vertical and horizontal or whatever it may be, I can add that to the checklist. So super simple, helpful way to get all that ready to go, and I hope that has been a helpful episode for you guys. So let me know how you guys like the mini checklist. What do you guys do to remember all these important things? Do you make a little checklist? What do you have on your checklist? I would love to know how you guys keep from screwing up, because I know after 20 years I still screw things up, and it's helpful to have a checklist like this to keep me from screwing less up, so that all I have to do is make creative decisions and only get those wrong, instead of forgetting really basic technical things like recording audio or setting your mic. So let me know what you guys do. I would love to know. And also let me know in the comments what you think of the mini episode. Trying to keep this on the shorter end and see how that works, as opposed to doing the longer 40-minute conversations. So I'm like, there's a place for everything, but sometimes it's nice to do little quickies. That way you can just get in and out and get some quick tips. So if you like this video, don't subscribe to our channel. Go subscribe to Lewis Potts. He makes great YouTube videos and you will like watching them. So thanks for watching, and as always, don't hit subscribe, don't even think about it. Just go check out Lewis Potts. He makes good videos, and our videos are here if you want to watch them, but if you don't, then don't watch it.